Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of City Skylines in our beautiful city. In the previous episode we started this racetrack and I collected a whole bunch of suggestions from you that I want to implement today. However, let me tell you about one additional mod that I installed because no vanilla feature could ever get close to what I want to achieve. And that mod is called Racetrack Curbs. What this is giving me is the ability to actually make curbs that are, well, more or less realistic. They are a little bit thin. I mean, we will have to experiment around with it a little bit, but yeah, there we go. We're gonna play around with these a little bit. However, that's not gonna be the only thing. Let's go through your suggestions. The first request goes quite well with the second one. Adding a waterfall or Wasserfall is going to be one of my goals. Next up, we're gonna add the traffic park, make maybe a little bit of a touristy area. Also, a helicopter depot would make for a great look. Broadcasting towers and radio buildings, that makes sense. And a large building where officials look at the track, okay. As for my curves on the track, a lot of people mentioned that the really hairy curves are missing, so we need some more extreme curves at some points, and then maybe also height differences on the track would make sense since we want to elevate certain areas and create a waterfall as well. Then the curbing should be on the inside of the bends with a strip on the outside at the exit. Yeah, I have to look at the reference image for that. I'm sorry, I'm not really big on racetracks. Next up, a concert or festival area. Absolutely makes sense. The next comment I pointed out, I think, is also talking a little bit about the curves and gives me tips on how I could improve on that. Very good. Then we had someone talking about fire watch towers that we could use as these radio towers. Road maintenance building, souvenir shop, communication television building, shipping container props. All good ideas. Let's see if we get to those. Then of course we want to add a small lake. I mean, the waterfall has somewhere to go. Ah, and this one is good. Traffic light at the start. I like that. Also, I downloaded a prop where I can simulate all the starting spots. Okay, everything very inspirational thus far. Next up, gravel traps and tire barriers. I have to think about that. I might have to download another asset. Suggesting adding a bunch of scoring towers. Not a bad idea. Now, mind you, I would like to keep as much of it as vanilla as possible. So I will always rather try something else before actually going into assets and modding. But yeah, after looking at the comments, let's finally get to it. Well then, first things first, we're gonna get rid of the curbs that I attempted to do thus far. We're also gonna get rid of the artificial gravel that we made here. We're just gonna start from scratch with that because, well, there's gonna be a lot of changes. Okay, next up we're gonna try to make this a little bit curvier. There should be an extreme bend right at this point. Let's see, I think I need to intervene myself a little bit. Yeah, this is not gonna be easy to make it look nice. Maybe we just do a little bit over 90 degrees and then we wanna turn back here. Okay, sweet, that now looks a little bit more challenging. Just gonna turn into here. The rest is good. Maybe let's make this a little more extreme. So instead we'll be coming from here and then turn into this straight. Yeah, though I guess we have to adjust it slightly so it doesn't look too wonky. Then maybe right here, this is a little bit too straight. So we're first gonna come from here and join that one. Then we're gonna add a little bit of a hairy situation in this place. And I think that should do it more justice in terms of hairy curves. Actually, let me swap this up here as well. We can do something better with that. You know, just adding a couple more turns to this and then we can go into the finish line. Come on, give me something good. Okay, what do you say about that? I kind of like it. Now let's take care of the elevation. I want to keep this at the same elevation and then I want to make this a lot more mountainous in the back. So let's maybe take this node right here and I want to elevate it quite a bit. Now I just want to go ahead and grab all of the nodes that come before this in the hopes that this is gonna turn out nice. And I guess this should be the first node. Then let's do a little bit of a trickery here and we want to slope object. Yes, okay, nice. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but I can work with it. Then I want to do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna grab a whole bunch of nodes from this side and connect with the height we already established. Okay, that should be it. Slope objects. Ooh. Come on, we can do a better job. Okay, it's sloping actually the wrong thing. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I guess a bunch of the elevations we can achieve ourselves. And then obviously we also want to go in with the terrain tool. Start adding a little bit of elevation with the intent to eventually create a waterfall as well. Okay, there we go. I made sure that all the weirdness around the road disappeared. Now let's get to raising the terrain in the center of the track. So all of this needs to go up substantially, and then probably at this point I want to implement a bridge of some sort so we can have... actually I don't have enough space. Yeah, I think I'm gonna add the lake and the waterfall right here. So this is all gonna be lake area, and then we need a way for the water to be able to escape through a river. So all of this all the way up to the road, lake area. And then I guess at this point we're gonna convert this into a bridge, so all the extra water can escape through a river here. We're gonna make this part over here the highest point actually, and then just raise it a little bit for the other area, so we can still have a little bit of building space. Okay then, we want to add a tiny waterfall to this. Come on, how can I bring this down even more? Yeah, I mean, technically this could work. Let's test it out. Just gonna unpause for a brief second and see if that works. This should just be a source, not a lake. Okay, it kind of doesn't work at all. Yeah, I need a little bit of a bigger hole to achieve what I want. So you go right there, and that should technically work out. Okay, unpause again. Okay, I guess now it is kind of working. Let me just dig in here a little bit more and then prevent the water from making too weird of a shape. Okay, nice. I kind of like it, just the decorations are missing, and then I wonder, is this gonna fill up at all, or can I just leave this be for now? Not sure, we might have to observe this, but it looks as though we are not going to experience any flooding in the near future. The next thing I would like to take care of is the looks of the road itself, the highway here. I enabled a mod that I had installed named Network Skins 2, and that is gonna allow me to, for instance, disable all of the street lamps. At least I hope I can do that. Yeah, none. It is also gonna allow me to adjust the color a little bit, so I want to make the racetrack a little bit darker. So now if we upgrade one of these, that's how it's gonna look like. Let's maybe make it even darker. I was kind of hoping we are able to remove the decals. But anyways, it still looks better without street lamps and a little bit of a darker asphalt color. There we go, look at this, it makes so much of a difference. Unfortunately, I do get a little bit of an overlap here, so that is the only thing I would complain about at this point. The next thing I would like to take care of is the touristy area as well as a concert hall. Do I still have something in terms of concert? I mean, I did already... Oh, there's a fan zone park. Oh no, building already exists. Yeah, that's what I thought. Also, the festival area already exists. I think that's what we've built in the 3rd episode or so. Ah, the traffic park. Okay, that's that thing. We've already placed this somewhere, and I think it might be worth relocating. Yeah, there we go. That's where I placed it at the moment. It's all the way down here in Atlantis. Just ignore everything that is abandoning at the moment. I am aware of the problems, and we're gonna do a fixing episode, but today it's not the day. So I'm gonna have that right here. Check. We are then gonna search for a couple of towers. We have some at our disposal. The drop tower that's from the amusement park. Here we go, the television station. This building definitely needs to go here. Let's add another road. Maybe not one with trees though. Gonna add that right here. And then the television building. Yes. Next up, a fire helicopter depot. We could also go with the police helicopters, but I think the fires are more of a problem if I look around the city. And we're gonna have that depot right here. Let's now add a side road, a normal one. Maybe we're gonna do something like this, connect these together, and we're gonna add our fire helicopters right there. We have fire watch towers. We can place as many of those as we want, so we definitely want probably one here at the start of everything. We are then gonna add one here before the second viewing area. We are gonna probably add one, let's see, maybe here after the bridge. Then maybe another one right here would be fitting. And I think that should be good in terms of firewatch towers. What else do we have? Eiffel Tower. Just a bunch of ruins. Okay, that's probably it in terms of towers. Let's do radio. Like a tall radio mast or just a normal one would make sense. Yeah, we could have one here. I like it. Or could we have a large one? Maybe the large one makes more sense. Yeah, let's add a large one. Or we could have both of them. Why not? Who's gonna stop me? Media Broadcasting Building. Building already exists. So yeah, I have no idea where that would be in my city. Okay, I guess in this case, since we have a little bit of a better idea on how the track looks, we are gonna do the curbs, right? So we want to search for net structures, and then we need to study this. So there's a start piece, an end piece, and then just a normal middle piece. Let's see, is there a difference between that and that? No difference at all. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to place some of them next to each other in order for it to make sense. So if I understood this correctly, at the beginning of the roads we want to have some curbs, and then at the end we want to have them on the other side. Oh no guys, I have to admit this is gonna be incredibly annoying to achieve. And then I think we just want to move them all the way to the asphalt. Yeah, that would make the most sense. Oh no, this is gonna be incredibly annoying to build, isn't it? Yeah, you know, I mean, we don't necessarily have to be too exact with this. Oh man, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, unfortunately, this is not working out the way I wanted it to. My roads are just too thick. But if I make them any narrower, it's gonna look weird again. I made the track maybe a little bit too large. Alright guys, I played around with certain features the entire evening, then at some point I had to take a break, fell asleep. It is now the next morning. And I have to admit that the thing with the curbs is simply not working the way I want it to. At some points, I mean, it is kind of acceptable, it does add a nice little touch. However, most of the time stuff like this happens, so the curbs are actually floating. This is floating in the air. If I just move this over, you can see it a little bit better. It's just floating and it's way too thin. So I'm kind of about to give up on this idea, at least for today's episode. I might browse the workshop a little bit more in order to maybe find some more props and decals. Here as well, at a certain point it's just vanishing underground and I would have to adjust the height of the road, but it's simply not going to be that easy. So I decided that's going to be a detail we add either in the future or not at all. I would like to get started with the touristy part, so we are going to expand on that road network just a tiny bit. Like this could come over here, and then we have the space for a nice little park on the left side. Now the thing is, at some points we probably want to connect the track, or we just act like if there is no race at all. I mean, at the moment there is no reason for any cars to actually use the track. But then on the other side, just seeing a truck on the track isn't satisfying either, right? It would have to be like a race car. Huh, okay, my alarm clock. I probably didn't trust in myself getting up at the first one. Anyways, let's search for a park. I think there are still parks, like the temple complex. Oh no, it is too large. Come on, there must be another park, like a Plaza of the Dead. Oh, that might actually be fitting, considering how many people could die on the track. So Plaza of the Dead, you go here. I'm gonna move you slightly over. That's good. And we are also gonna set up a bunch more parking spaces, but really small ones. Like one right here with the fitting colors. Actually, we have to move that up slightly. Come on, give me something good. We're then gonna add a side road right here. Sometimes this is a little bit finicky. And another one like so. We are gonna continue slightly towards that direction and then a tiny side road on the left side. And I think that already might be my touristy area, though I would like to also be able to cross over the tracks at a certain point with a bridge. Not so sure yet though. I think I first want to zone a couple of things, and we want to make this a touristy district. Wait, did I really not remember the fire helicopter depot from the previous episode? That's crazy. So let's get rid of that and we're gonna exchange it with a police depot. Yeah, right here. Police helicopter depot. That's what I wanted for this road. Ah, come on. Let's use road anarchy. I'm so glad for that mod. Anyways, I wanted all of this to be one single district and it's gonna have the tourism tag. So all of you goes into the district. Perfect. And we're gonna call it racetrack for the time being. Maybe you come up with a better suggestion, but I don't necessarily want to change it in this case. All of this is going to be shopping, which is gonna cause several other issues because we already don't have enough materials to supply all the shopping districts. Now, in order for that to apply, we want to make this tourism specialization. There we go. So all of the buildings, they might actually rebuild at this point, but afterwards we're going to have that touristy effect. In this case, we're also going to need slightly more water, and my water lines are getting crazier and crazier every day. Great, now everything should have water and power for the time being. Let it develop a little bit. Now I have to take care of certain parts of my city actually before we go too crazy. 90% of my abandoning problems I can point you out. Let me just show you why that is happening. And here we have the culprit. As you can see, the trains are just standing around. They are not delivering their goods at all. And that is because I changed something in the tracks. It's probably this additional station here. Let me actually see. Yeah, look at this. There's this train standing in the way, and that is just breaking everything. Okay, let's see when this actually happens again. I mean, right now it's kind of working again, but as soon as I look away, one of the trains does something stupid that clogs everything up and nothing is gonna work anymore. Ah, okay, I see. That, for instance, is a little bit weird to me. I think we should be able to move this node much further, but maybe that is another change I might regret. So I believe one way we would be able to fix this is by going up here. And don't worry, this is not gonna be a permanent solution. I just wanna see if that solution even works. So now one of the lines can bypass all the way across here. That should be fine. Okay, seems to be running much smoother now. I'm just gonna observe this. This is not today's topic. Let's get back to the racetrack. Good, all of this is zoned. Let's maybe get into the foliage and rocks. We want a whole bunch of trees. Oh, I totally forgot this is an oil area. But we still have plenty of space to build an industry if we want to. That's interesting. It seems as though the waterfall managed to fill up the entirety of this area. Well, anyways, let's get started by actually texturing the area here. I want this to be a little more rocky and not just the standard terrain textures. Yeah, alright, this actually gives it a nice little touch. I think I want to add this on the other side as well, and then maybe certain other areas of the track. I really like this bright stone material. However, I guess at certain points we kind of have to mix it up to make it look more natural. This is like the ground texture we just built. And then we also need some bulkier candidates. And then maybe some of these types, especially around and in the water. Oh, okay, now we are actually having the flooding. Okay, that means we want to take apart this bridge and that track. We then want to lower the terrain in a river-like fashion, just going into the ocean. All we want is to get rid of the excess water. It doesn't need to be much. So you go straight into the ocean at this point. Thank you. Gotta observe this for a minute. Now, of course, all of this is gonna spill over because I placed some of the rocks inside of the water. For that, of course, City Skylines is realistic enough. That also reminds me, I might want to put back the tracks, otherwise my city is gonna run into more and more issues. So we just want to bridge over like before. Nothing really is gonna change here. I might make this look a little bit nicer in the future. Oh, that's mighty interesting. I think I can move this up a little bit. I thought the water doesn't cater to the stone so much. I mean, look at this. This is kind of crazy. Give me something a little more natural, please, City Skylines. Well, honestly, it's kind of doing what it's supposed to. Obviously, this is not the greatest waterfall humanity has ever seen. But yeah, let's shut up and place some trees. Oh, we actually have a vehicle on here. A vacuum truck. Good times, good times. Now, I'm not gonna go crazy and all out on the trees. I just want to use them sparingly here and there every now and then to add a little bit more of a scenery. Another thing some people might appreciate is pathways, obviously. Gonna also add a little bit of pathways like so. And look at that. We have vacuum trucks. We have, from what I can tell, a couple of exchange students. Yeah, so obviously the inside road isn't being used in vain, but whenever a truck uses the highway or the racetrack, they are trapped for a while. We are gonna keep on building here on the top. This can be fairly mountainous and cavey, volcany, I don't really care. As long as we have a little bit of a variety going on. Some of you here, maybe another hole right there. Another hole on this side, thank you. Ah, this is gonna look absolutely amazing when it is finished. I'm always a little bit worried that I'm rushing things. If I want to do everything in one episode, But yeah, as long as you guys can be a little bit patient, I'm not too worried about it. I really appreciate everyone who has the patience to wait for these episodes, since they really do take a long time, especially for someone who doesn't live a YouTuber's life. Yay, check this out. This is actually almost perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Now I need a couple of trees along the roads here. Let's set those up as well. Unfortunately, we don't have enough demand for all the tourism stuff. So I just ended up deleting all of the trains, and now I have to observe how we can prevent this from happening. So this is the critical area here, isn't it? It's just way too many lines coming together. How can I prevent this from happening? What if instead of connecting these, we just went straight here? So we did something like that. Just move this out a little bit. Okay, so now these two are connected together. And then at some point, potentially here, we want to connect these two lines. Yeah, that's going to be quite impossible. Except we do it like so. And then we bring it together. Ooh, look at that. Okay, that might actually work. I'm just going to move this over. Let me see again. This connection is like that. So we need one that is like so. And then move it over. Okay, I mean, it does look a little bit ugly, but the tracks do connect. Yeah, that might actually be an improvement, provided the trains can actually utilize the track. Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, we might want to establish a little tiny bit more distance between those, especially because the trains also seem to have to move very slow. It's still not the solution. Guys, the next time we have to do a train fixing episode, I'm sorry, but it's just gonna have to be that way. And today I'm not gonna unpause too much anymore. So it's unfortunate because we won't be seeing the entirety of the area develop, but at least we can still finish the decorations. I mean, we've already come such a long way. I don't want to get distracted by a bunch of measly trains. Now, one thing I already know is that on the outside of the track, I would like to have a foresty area. I need to be a little bit careful. Like, all of this area here is going to be one large forest between the tracks and the tracks. Well, the race tracks and the train tracks. So there's going to be a huge forest almost all the way around, but much fewer trees at the racetrack then. And this part here is actually going through the forest. So all of this was forest, and then we built the track through that. Also gonna add some of these trees. No, even that is gonna take forever, but we will have covered a huge area with a nice decorative forest. We're now diving into the medium trees in order to fill up all of the gaps. Come on. Well, actually, at this point, I cannot really tell. No, I'm still placing trees. Wasn't sure there for a second if I add anything at all. Filling this up with a bunch of small trees. Now these will only really be able to see if we get really close. So I'm not sure if it's worth it. Maybe we bring in some colors. That might be better. Yeah, like this difference you can see immediately. If we add a little bit of pink, maybe some purple, it's gonna be glorious. Great, I'm actually already happy with that. All we are missing is a bunch of rocks every now and then to make it look more natural. Maybe we could also have risen the terrain at a certain point. Like in Switzerland, the forests are barely flat. Okay, nice. I actually like this forest. It isn't too thick, you know, it's not as thick as other forests we've built. Looking at this, I think the area with the radio towers should really also be filled with trees. So I'm gonna take care of that as well. And I want to cover the entire ground with bushes here as well. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Not sure what I was thinking here. Now, of course, at the moment, nobody is building, but all of this is going to be filled up with buildings. We are only after that going to start decorating it. Now, let me look at it from the top. I think it is clearly recognizable as a racetrack. Not sure. What do you think? Now, considering I cannot leave the game running to let the area develop, we don't have the necessary demand anyways, we are gonna wrap it up by maybe placing the traffic lights. So vehicles will go into this direction, and I'm not sure why this arrow here is pointing into the wrong direction. This is kind of weird, actually. Okay, it's kind of weird. At least the arrows are now pointing into the right direction, even though the actual road doesn't. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen some traffic lights somewhere. Yeah, right there, actually. We have a whole bunch of them. Let me see. Which one do we want to go for? I guess a large one that spans across the road would be the best. And I also have the other side here. So let's make sure we kind of line this up. Another thing I believe I can find here, yeah, the racetrack start position decal. Hold on, this is actually only one line. Oh no. Can I at least move them? Okay, I can move them around, which means I should also be able to copy them. Alright, not bad. Check this out. I can just copy and paste this all over the place. So I'm assuming, since we only have 3 lanes, we're kind of gonna do it like so. Right now we only have like 12 pit stops, so we don't really have to worry too much. Actually, looking at this, I think I want to space them out a little bit more. Can I please get... Oh no, what did I do? Thankfully I could undo that. Alright, we're gonna try this again. This time we're gonna leave a substantial amount of space between each of the starting positions. There we go. Something like that already makes much more sense to me. So now we have the traffic lights and we have the starting positions. We have the scoring towers or the radio broadcast towers. We have a television station. Now we're still missing tons of details in the forest, but especially around the touristy bits. Also, another thing that I want to reintroduce is my gravel traps. So everywhere we have a curve like this, I'm gonna reinstate the gravel traps that I built previously, even though they are not the nice striped red and white colors. But yeah, that is the only real way I see this working. However, we cannot have curves like this. Right here, this needs to be a gravel trap so people don't cause crazy accidents. Then there are gonna be other bits, like for instance here we could have a bunch of buildings, but then this part here would have to be with a sound barrier. And then obviously this would be a gravel trap. So yeah, still lots of detailing to do. But as I said, I want to push this a little further into the background until we have the train system fixed and the touristy area developed. But with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.